Greetings and namaste. My name is Siobhan. Thank you for tuning in to my channel. We will start off by actually playing the singing bowl. So we're going to start off with some healing energy to assist us with the message, as well as what we're being asked to do for the 1010 portal that is on its way. This portal, actually, we have assignments. We have work we need to do. We need to start transmuting this energy leading up to this portal, even though I know a lot of us are, and a lot of us have been transmuting. I was actually just basically given another assignment like this past Monday that I need to start doing the transmuting work for. So we're going to talk about some of the things that, if it has not been revealed to you yet, you will likely be receiving an assignment if you have not had one already. So the crystal that will be assisting us is the Lemurian Ethereum Gold Andara. Lemurian Ethereum Gold Andara. Alright, so you want to relax. Just take a deep breath. Allow messages from your higher self as well. The more higher selves, the more light and love that we are receiving, the better in understanding and transmuting the energy that we are being guided to transmute. And also this Ethereum Gold Andara core is ablaze with a golden radiance, activating the resonance of enlightenment in your true light essence. I will also see if I'm able to upload this video to Facebook. However, I guess this past month I haven't been able to upload any videos. And, maybe I'll work with someone or ask someone else to upload it for me. We have to work together. So to accompany the message today, the two messages I was guided to listen to, along with the messages that I've been receiving. This morning was Daniel Scranton's How to Change a Belief System. Very important to continue to clear belief systems. I know you may think you've cleared enough, or you may think you've done your clearing, but there's always more integrations, more clearing to do. As it is a continuous process until you return to source. It's continuous. But basically, the Arcturian Council was pointing out our belief systems that form based on direct experience. So a lot of us have seen things or witnessed trauma or experiences, had direct experiences within certain systems, and form belief systems around them. So especially if they were negative, we need to assist each other in clearing these belief systems. So one of the things that the matrix and the controllers are great at doing is basically demonstrating their power, even if it's illusory, but demonstrating their power, their control, enforcing their rules. So therefore, when we witness these things, we tend to accept and adopt them because everybody else around us have. And they believe these things to be true of the false matrix system, control system. This system is about domination, control, and limitation. So how do we operate outside of these perceived truths? So we have to have ones of us that are willing and able to transmute and see beyond these systems in order to get us beyond the system, beyond the belief, beyond the limitation, beyond the control. You have to have ones of us that are able to do the work and move forward, creating something new or restoring the organic system. So a second video I would also recommend watching is Amanda Ellis. She did one on 1010 Break the Chains. Very much the same message. And I'm sure other people will be giving messages as well, as this is a very important portal that we're moving through. And this is all about releasing these negative control beliefs. I mean, these are things that we've experienced. So lots of experiences or trauma that you've experienced in the past, that your family has experienced, that your lineage has experienced, that you've experienced multiple timelines, that you've experienced multiple lifetimes. A lot of these things are coming up to be healed, forgiven, released, and purged. So I went to the crystal store today, and I was actually guided to get a banded carnelian. Let's see if I could put it up here. I don't know if you can see. Can you see the bands within it? Hold on. I think that's the better side. But if you can see that it has bands like a tree. And what I was getting when I was in the store buying it, because I have plenty of carnelians. Like carnelian was one of the very first crystals I began working with, because carnelians are very good at healing trauma, which pretty much everybody in the third dimension needs a carnelian. So, but the bands, were similar, like the bands within a tree, layers, different layers of healing. So that's what I felt from the carnelian, healing at a deeper level, going into the different bands, the different elements, the different timelines, the different lifetimes, within the different lineages, within the different familial lines, going back, very far, releasing all this stuff, but helping to heal that. Another one I got tiger's eye earrings, which is all about empowerment, moving forward in your power and your truth. Iolite. Now this one is interesting because I've heard of iolite. I was aware of it, but I hadn't worked with it before. And iolite, don't get me wrong, even when you look up the characteristics of these stones, you're not limited to just the characteristics you read about. But they give you a good idea of what they're for and what they do and what they can help you with. So when I looked up iolite, which it had lots of different meanings, but, helping with shamanism, journeying, past life, healing trauma, opening the third eye, expressing yourself. Let me see. It did list weight loss for anybody interested in that. Healing different physical aspects. Let me see what else. But a lot with clearing belief systems, releasing those basically in your empowerment. So these three stones together very much are going to assist me in the transmuting that I need to do. And it's interesting also because I realized after I purchased them, in Amanda's video, Metatron had recommended working with the colors blue, orange, and silver. And so even the stones are wrapped in silver. So I thought that was interesting. So we're going to be exploring like some deeper concepts of forgiveness within systems, and then even the controllers or the beings that are controlling these systems. So we'll go with the flow. I took some notes. Of course, some things are just going to come up. That's usually how it goes. And even wrapping up like the end of September into this month, a lot of us have been transmuting so much energy. Yes, some of us have definitely been sleeping more, been tired. Some are traveling more, whether you remember the dreams or not, or the astral traveling, or during your meditation or the messages. Lots of us are having respiratory, where there's a cough or a runny nose and congestion. And of course, everybody's going to experience the energy differently, but we are definitely transmuting more and more and more based on your ability and your effectiveness to transmute that energy on behalf of yourself and the collective. So the truth of who we are is necessary in understanding true forgiveness. So you're bringing more of that energy of who you are. That is so important to understand in lifting this dimension, is focusing on the light and where you came from and your truth. And you have to understand, like when we're talking about forgiveness and clearing control systems, that's based on conquer, destroy, divide, separation, putting other people down. I realized this years ago. Some concepts that we witness, we're able to pick up on right away, even as children. Like, this is not, this is not what God would want. Really. Anytime you see people putting each other down, it's to make them feel better about themselves, which means they don't feel good about themselves. Like, it's really not that hard to comprehend. It's really quite simple. But you also have to, like, when you start understanding the truth of who you are and why you are here, we came to free a planet. We came to assist, which means I am not white or black. Like, I'm not Asian. I'm not any of that. I incarnated into a family to assist this family. And I'm not the only starseed or angelic that's incarnated into this family. So you have to move beyond that. Like, once you move beyond that and understand how multidimensional you are, it is easier to assist in the healing because you're not so attached to I'm this, I'm that, and you have all these labels and limitations on you. You are much bigger than any label, any identification, any name, and any thought. That's another thing. You're not your thoughts. You're far beyond thoughts. A lot of people just think too much. Calm your mind. And I know that confuses some people, because some people think, well, some people aren't thinking enough. But understand, even the ones you think are sleeping or not thinking enough, they're thinking a whole lot. And they're probably thinking about worry, anxiety, depression, hopelessness, fear, and panic. That's what they're thinking about. But they're thinking. Believe me, they're thinking. They're thinking a whole lot, and they need to stop thinking so much. Thinking is an addiction. I don't know if anybody's ever told you that, but most people in this dimension are addicted to thinking, and at one point I was too. Thought I could be doing better, or thought down about myself. I didn't realize how negative I was towards myself until I actually started paying attention to my thoughts. And then, like I said, they're not all your thoughts anyway. So really, it was just like other spirits thinking negative thoughts at me. But you just have to start allowing the truth of what's going on to be revealed to you instead of demanding and thinking that you know, because you don't know. The people around you don't know. They don't, because they're not hearing from their higher self anyway. If they were, we probably wouldn't even be here. So the truth of who we are is necessary in understanding true forgiveness. When you have, hold, or are compassion, you understand, are aware that beings who act out of trauma and pain are disconnected from their own divinity and remembrance of their own essence. When you understand this, you exhibit an even higher ideal of atonement. You know, I've looked up the difference, or, you know, what it means to forgive versus what it means, what atonement is. Research it, meditate on what atonement is. Where the evidence of disconnection is automatically forgiven with the awareness that restoration and healing is needed. Another thing that came to me, like there's still this debate about different people, different actors, different control systems, the beings that are controlling people, the beings that are possessing people, things of this nature. If you can understand that any individual, any entity, any being that will harm, traumatize, or control another is out of alignment and obviously not hearing from their higher self. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say about it. It's evidence right there. They're out of alignment and they're not hearing from their higher self, meaning they need to be healed. Whether or not they can be healed on this earth probably depends on what type of being they are. But generally speaking, they need to return to the light. Even the free roaming, disembodied spirits of dead people and, you know, people that didn't go to light, all those beings and entities and spirits need to return to the light. Plain and simple. Let me see. I thought there was another thought that was coming with that. It's okay. We'll see if it comes later. But that's the evidence, you know. The trees are coming forward more than ever. And I don't even think it's that they're coming forward more than ever. I think it's we're able to hear them more than ever. But they stand ready to assist us. They are the record keepers of Mother Gaia. They have witnessed her destruction. Excuse me. Like I said, a lot of us are transmuting energy. But they have witnessed her destruction. And I think that, you know, there's a possibility that many people were thinking, you know, oh, Mother Gaia is going to be destroyed. Mother Gaia has experienced significant destruction already, which, don't get me wrong, you know, it could be worse. But we're not interested in worse. You know, we're interested in better and restoration. And while the conquerors and the controllers may have believed they destroyed these great beings of Mother Gaia, and I'm talking about the huge trees, I'm talking about the mountains, and the mesas are like the flat, they'll tell you it's a mountain or something like that, but it's not a mountain. It's a tree that was completely decimated. But they were unable to get to the roots of these trees, of these beings, where their records are still being maintained and protected by the inner earth beings. So they're still being maintained and protected by the inner earth beings. So at the bottom, these mountains, you know, which you just think are rocks, which really are decimated trees, their roots are still alive. Their roots are still being maintained by the inner earth beings, who are our brothers and sisters. And they have also assured us that they will assist in restoring the surface of Mother Gaia, as well as the trees. The keepers of these records will grow again. So the trees will grow again. All will be restored. This is the process we are heading on. This is the new earth restoration. They are to be utilized as great teachers on forgiveness. They have asked that we connect with them and explore the topics of forgiveness, help transmute this energy, as they have been hurt and witnessed to great pain as well. They are transmuting this energy with us. They also provide the greatest evidence that we are one, as we all breathe the same air. And it's interesting because I had heard a message one day, and this was a couple years ago. I think it was by, I want to say his name is Ted, but I know he's like an oil billionaire or something of that nature. But this was several years ago. It's probably pretty old. But he was making jokes about, people saying, oh, you can't sell water. Oh, you can't sell oxygen. And he basically made a joke. He's like, yeah, but if I own all the water, you're going to have to pay me for it. But also made a joke about the air. Said if they could devise a way to maintain control over the air and the oxygen, they would do that and force people to buy air. And it was like a joke to him. But the point is if the dark ones, if the cabal, if the Illuminati, the controllers, if they could find a way to separate, divide, and like conquer oxygen, they would have done that. That's how sad that is. But again, that's another evidence that we're all one. As much as they want to believe that people are beneath them or different from them or deserve to be mistreated even while you're traumatizing someone else, like you're still breathing my oxygen. Like we're sharing oxygen here because we're one being, we're one organism, we are one. But it's also important to honor your collective nature as well as your individual nature. And that's the thing about integrating more of your higher self. You understand that there isn't one or the other. It's not, oh, we're a collective, we're all one, and that's it. Well, but you're also an individual of that collective, so you honor both. You integrate both. You love both. You don't just wait to die to return to the collective. No, that's not the purpose of honoring your life and your experience. So, the preparation leading up to the 1010 portal is an opportunity to look at the past and the present and transmute experiences that have directly led to limiting belief systems. Negative experiences perceived that serve the purpose of demonstrating the power of the 3D matrix that is falling. So we have to look at these systems, belief systems, experiences within our individual selves. I've also been receiving many messages just on my own, like what I've been asked to do. Of course I do my own readings. I do readings for other people. But one of the cards or one of the love activations I pulled was actually on forgiveness. So you are now able to activate the power of love in order to release past hurts. Forgiveness is for you. It's for you and your healing, because you cannot heal for someone else. You can't heal their belief systems. You can't heal their thoughts. This is for you. Forgiveness is the cornerstone of love. To be fully aligned with the power of love requires complete forgiveness of self and others. You may find this hard to accomplish because you are letting your ego be in the driver's seat. When you can't forgive, it is the ego holding on to past hurts and the feeling of not being in control. Forgiveness will remove old blockages and causes of emotional distress, allowing love energy to work through you. By forgiving, you are not excusing or condoning a particular behavior. Instead, you are willing to understand the lesson being presented. You're also able to understand that this person, especially if it's like a physical, abusive trauma or something of that nature, sexual trauma, that this person is also not connected to their higher selves. You are not necessarily obligated to reconcile. You can forgive and choose to involve yourself with that person or situation again. The saying forgive and forget is a misnomer, for you should never forget a lesson. Bless the experience, but always remember what you learned from it. When you forgive, you open yourself up to the positive and loving experiences that the universe wants to bestow upon you. Now there is room for them in the space formerly taken up by babysitting those horrible and toxic feelings. When you are unable to forgive, you basically torment yourself. Even though this person may have harmed you or hurt you, holding on to it. When you think about it, when you bring it up, you are emotionally and mentally tormenting yourself. That person may not even be present in your life anymore. And you are still thinking about it over and over again because your brain cannot distinguish between it physically happening and you thinking about it. You have the same emotions, you disperse or release the same trauma energy every time you torture yourself. And believe me, there are beings or entities feeding off of that, and they're likely inside your body. So some of the systems that need to be addressed. The systems that need to be addressed are the major ones that have caused control, limitation, persecution, and trauma to the collective. This includes religious, legal, financial, education, medical, political, military, cultural, and history. All of these systems and more, which I just listed some major ones that was being revealed to me. All of these systems and even minor systems will be restored, transitioned, and or replaced. We came here to restore. We did not come here to destroy. We did not come here to watch all of these systems fall and crumble. We came here to restore them to an organic, balanced state. And balance within any system. You know, even if you're talking about political or ruling parties or leadership, because it's really not even about, in a balanced situation, it would be more about leadership, which is demonstrating by example. And it would be balanced, masculine and feminine energy, balanced. You know, some people might find this hard to believe based on their belief systems or what they think to be true. But we are not going from a patriarchy to a matriarchy. We're going to balance. And you can't say it's balance if it's called a matriarchy. If anything, it would be called a patriarchy, matriarchy. That would be balance. But truthfully, with the integration of your higher self, and with the collective integrating their higher self, you don't need a ruler. You don't need a king, and you don't need a government. So all of these systems will be changing and transitioning, and it will be a process. And you have to be easy with yourself and others as we go through this process. One example I was shown, let's see if I can remember the percentages. And these are always timeline potentials for this timeline. Maybe, what was it, like 80%? 80% of the population within 4 generations would be able to hear from their higher selves, and about 25% at a great degree. Now, with that being a timeline potential, that means you can definitely do better than that if the collective chooses to do that. But basically, for a 5th dimensional Earth, the majority of people, if not all, will be wanting to and integrating their higher selves. And besides that, you will manifest a lot faster. So you have to gain control of your thoughts. You have to gain control of your ego. You have to master yourself. And you have to integrate your higher self with the understanding that your higher self knows better than you. I'm really not sure how to explain that any better. I don't understand why people don't get that, at least right away. But your higher self is a higher aspect of you. It is you. Operating without an ego. Like, an ego is very 3rd dimensional. Your ego is like a tool to think, process, and create through the mind. You know, a way to focus your energy, but it was never meant to control you. You were meant to use it as a tool to your benefit to navigate this plane or this dimension, this planet. So that needs to be restored. You know, it's not your enemy, but it's just way off balance. It's way out of balance, and it needs to be balanced. So whichever system you're being called to assist or transmute may have already come to you in your awareness, or it will come soon. You may also be guided to assist others with similar situations. Another book I recently got is actually called Rainbow Tribe. Rainbow Tribe by Ed McGaw, the Eagle Man. I was just going to read one passage out of this, which of course when I looked it up, I found it. So, when it comes to some of the native and indigenous, Aboriginal prophecies, understanding these prophecies also should help you to release these concepts of race. There's a lot of people, a lot of teachers that still are demonstrating that they need further healing. If your purpose of exploring the past or learning the truth is simply to blame someone else, or simply to place blame on someone or a group, that's probably indicating that you need more healing. If you think that a certain group or a race or a sex or a group of people is going to come into power and get rid of the other people, that's an indication you need more healing. We came here, and these are prophecies incarnating into every lineage to heal and restore all of them. All of them. For whatever reason, whether or not they are indigenous to this planet or they were brought to this planet, they are all being restored and reconnected to Source, Mother, Father, Source, Creator, and their higher selves. All of them. No matter where they reside. That's why the healing here affects the whole multiverse. So to even think or entertain within your ego that any group is coming into power to get rid of the other group, I don't think you understand what is going on. With the exception of the controller beings that came solely to conquer and dominate and that have destroyed whole planets. Now that group is different. That group has to return to source because they have not been connected to their higher self for thousands of years. So that group will essentially be removed from the planet. But that is through the means of Source and Mother Gaia. We're not destroying them. That's still a restoration. We are still helping them to heal, no matter how much they fight it. Because eventually, with us focusing on our own healing, with us focusing on assisting Mother Gaia, the energy here will become so high they won't be able to maintain it anyway. It's going to physically hurt them. And I'm going to share another story after I read this passage here. Hold on. So, rainbows, which he's talking about the Rainbow Tribe, realize that the ecology of the planet presents a much higher calling, and one that demands a clear head, connection to your higher self. Otherwise, we can all suffer a tragic cataclysm. Nature will force the truth if the ecological disasters get much worse. We have no choice. We have to rediscover the natural way, the organic systems. Get close to nature and begin your truth. Stop the old practices of coloring and manipulating truth. With the gifts, that sounds so weird because it sounds like I'm saying gifts with no T. With the gifts of communication and related technology, this rediscovery can progress even beyond the accomplishments of the League of the Iroquois. So, okay, let me finish with what I wrote before I give this example. So you will likely have had negative experiences or observations within multiple timelines and multiple lifetimes that you're being called to clear on a deeper level. And some of these, to be quite honest with you, you may have experienced them and moved on and don't even realize that you didn't transmute. Because that's actually my case. Like, I had experienced something several years ago. Didn't even come to my attention. I hadn't done any transmuting in that area, related to one of these major systems. And obviously it's been a problem more than one lifetime. So one example, I was meditating and I woke up. When I woke up, I had this congestion. Like I said, I've been having congestion. And I went to go blow my nose, and it was like, basically, because sometimes we're like, didn't I already deal with this? Or didn't I already came through this. I don't want to have to deal with this again. And it's like, Spirit, and they're so loving, so compassionate. And they're like, haven't you blown your nose before? Like, you cleared your nose plenty of times, haven't you? And just because it becomes stuffy again, does that mean you're not going to blow your nose? Or you just going to stop breathing? Or you continue to clear it until it's clear. You continue to clear it. If it comes up or something else comes up, you hear a lot of us that are like light workers or in the light working community are healing, whether you call it light working or not. I hear often, a lot of times we get frustrated sometimes, like, well, I just went through this and cleared this and now there's something else. But you have to understand the gravity of what we are doing. And you cannot understand that without the connection and integrating your higher self, which is an ongoing process, which means there's ongoing healings. There's ongoing, because even once you're beyond assisting or healing or helping yourself and your family, you're going to do it on behalf of the collective. It does not stop. Does that mean that you should be hopeless? Oh my God, it's never going to stop. No. It means you should be determined and you should be thankful that all of this trauma and control ends with your presence. It ends with us. Source trusted you to come here and do this work. Our brothers and sisters that are still in spirit trusted us and knew that we can do it and encourage us. They support us and they never get angry at us. They're just wanting to assist us. They know it's hard here. They've been here before too. But you have to trust in yourself. You have to trust in your ability. Stop doubting yourself. Stop thinking you didn't get that message right. And believe me, I'm talking to myself while I'm talking to you. But it is an ongoing process and you will get better at it. But appreciate where you are, knowing that you will be further ahead or further along or knowing more next month and next year. You are an expanding being, always expanding, always learning something, always healing something, always blessing someone, always bringing joy. We are here to not only heal, but create the energy or the space to allow the higher energies to come down. But you have to clear the energy. It doesn't stop with healing. Now that you've healed it, you're allowing more light energy to come in. But if you don't do the healing part, if you think it's too hard, someone's got to do it. Someone's got to do it. Put it this way, Earth origin beings have been trying to do it for a really long time. They needed help, and we graciously said, we will go there and restore. We will go there and heal. We will go there and uplift. We will go there and free them. And what else is interesting is I was watching a series called Arthdal, A-R-T-H-D-A-L, A-R-T-H-D-A-L Chronicles. And it's like, while I was even watching this, and I guess you could say it's similar to Game of Thrones, even though I didn't watch Game of Thrones. But when I described it to people, they say it sounds similar to Game of Thrones. But in this series, it was like I was able to watch and process and transmute, because some of us can't really understand or comprehend like the levels of manipulation and deceit that go on between different parties when trying to take over or gain control for yourself, and all these manipulative concepts. Because from my understanding and remembrance, Like even when we were in Atlantis, we could not, those of us, you know, aligned with the light and just teaching and serving and helping each other and leading each other, teaching the people, we had no idea that people were literally sitting around and thinking stuff up and manipulating and deceiving and killing and conquering each other and all these things. We just couldn't understand it because that's not how we are. You know, I could tell you even through my own life, you know, there were certain things I just couldn't understand. Like why anybody would be sitting around gossiping or making up stuff. Like you just make up stuff and you feel comfortable just saying stuff that you just made up for no reason whatsoever. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't have to make any sense. It don't make sense. Like, and I don't, you know, I just choose not to do that because I never had the desire to, you know. So it was interesting to watch. And then especially to see how, like with certain villages or tribes would be conquered. And how quickly, based on witnessing that trauma, witnessing, you know, loved ones get killed, witnessing how easy, you know, it was to be put in chains and things of that nature when you had no idea that people were doing these sort of things to each other because you hadn't been exposed to it. How quickly their whole belief systems change. How quickly, like, different groups that were, like, very loving and honorable and supportive of each other, how this fear and this desire to live will cause them to start betraying each other, you know, and being willing to risk each other's lives just to save their own, you know. Excuse me. And even at certain times watching some of this, it's like, why would that be your choice? Like, you know, why would you choose that, you know, when you have these other choices? Or like, why not just unite and, you know, go against this power, you know? So these are some interesting topics to explore. But it was also giving me the opportunity to assist in transmuting of some of these dynamics, because these are very real dynamics that have played out on the earth. So yes, if you know, feel called or guided to watch that series, I found it very interesting and a good one. So I think I will finish with, I'll finish with the reading. So we're going to be asking an insight onto this. We need to transmute what's coming up. And this is the Living with a Feather Heart Oracle deck, 42 Ideals of Mayat. It's basically the situation, what we need to learn, and the outcome. Okay. I keep the waters pure. I keep the waters pure. So I feel like this is about getting back to the pureness of not only yourself, but the different systems involved. Purifying, cleansing, and releasing. Forgiving. Let's see here. And getting to yourself, you know, like she's purely naked, free of labels, free of beliefs, free of systematic programming, just free. Your pure essence. So let's see here. So lessons to learn. And this is an interesting deck as well. I love all the decks because they pull up certain elements that are different from different ones. So I keep the waters pure. And I've only had this one for like 2 or 3 days. So, let's see here. What message is coming out about this one? But getting back to your purity, your true essence of who you are, which is beyond your earthly experience. In Egyptian mythology, Nun or Nu is a deification of water and understood to be the representation of the primeval waters of chaos which existed before giving birth to the land. From an elemental standpoint, water is represented as the realm of emotion, the subconscious, and intuition. Alchemically speaking, water is feeling, which finds a relationship to earth as a sensation, and through a connection of these elements, a structured thought is born. So basically, and this is a lot longer than this, but basically getting back to the purity, the organic structure of thought. So we have to purify, transmute, and release these old belief systems to allow for the organic truth of who you are to be born on earth. You have to forgive the old ways, the limiting ways, the traumatic ways. You have to release them so we can get back to the pureness of who we are in organic structure, in relationship to source and the earth. So how may this be learned? I speak with good intent. And through thoughts and speaking is how reality is created. Through words, which first comes your thought. So you have to have good thoughts to speak with good intent. You have to have pure thoughts to speak with good intent to create something different. Okay. I speak with good intent. To speak, communicate, and converse all with the intention of creation and goodness allows the idealized human to embody the archetypal aspects of the magician who is able to walk through both the material and spiritual planes with ease, channeling universal powers to directly affect the natural world. And this is why we need you to focus on the goodness so you can create it. When applying I speak with good intent with the heart and mind of the feather-hearted magician, we are aware that with every spoken word, we are influencing time through how we make others feel and how those feelings ripple through the fabric of space-time. Beautiful, beautiful. And the wisdom revealed. I remain in balance with my emotions. I remain in balance with my emotions. Balancing the yin and the yang. Balancing the masculine and the feminine. I remain in balance with my emotions. The ancient Egyptians considered the heart to be the most sacred organ, as this conscious center of emotion and harmony was thought to be the key that unlocks the doors to heaven and earth and the hereafter. In the Egyptian Book of the Dead, Anubis weighs the heart of the deceased against the feather of Ma'at, representing truth and justice. And if the heart is as light as a feather, you are granted permission to pass into the heavenly paradise of the fields of Hetep and Eru. However, if the heart is dense with the destructiveness of anger, vice, sadness, and wrongdoing, an Egyptian goddess known as Devourer or Soul Eater consumes the heart and you are unable to pass through to the next world. The evocative imagery this otherworldly ritual invokes can be viewed as a powerful metaphor for the importance of keeping a balanced scale in this life with your heart in alignment with truth, a key for the here and now, which can unlock doors to higher realms of inner and outer light. Remaining in balance with emotions can be a challenge. The head and the heart can at times be in opposition with each other. Like the opposing hemispheres of the brain, logic and feeling don't always agree, yet they must work together in order to function as a whole. Such is the same internal agreement with the heart and mind. Reconciliation of thought and feeling allows life to remain light and balanced with the harmony of being. So restoring balance with the emotions, with the masculine and feminine, with the left and right brain. The heart is actually meant to be the ruler, which is why it's considered so sacred. Through the heart space, through your heart, is how you reach or communicate with your higher self. And it is only when you calm and balance the ego that you're able to do this on a more consistent basis. So these are very interesting and very necessary components to shifting to the new earth and healing and releasing old belief systems. You have to go through the emotions, even with these experiences. You know, what is it that you felt when interacting with these systems? What is it that you feel? What is it that caused this belief that you hold that you need to transmute and let go of? I myself have to do the same thing. We're all doing this. And I'll share one other experience that I had over the weekend. So some people are aware that I have shared that I've had more than one individual in my life that is possessed by a reptilian consciousness. And so while visiting with my father over the weekend, it was interesting because in public, you know, he can distract himself or sit, you know, close to someone else or leave when he freely wants to. We were visiting at his house. It was just me, him, and my daughter. So he really couldn't distract himself or leave, you know, his own house. So it was interesting because I'm aware of the presence of this being. You know, he's not, which I don't, you know, I haven't told him because there's no point to telling him other than helping him to heal. Because it's not about scaring someone. It's about assisting them. You know, you support their growth and their healing until they're ready to do it. So basically within the first, I would say about the first 15 minutes, we were getting comfortable, sitting down, you know, getting glasses of lemonade, things of that nature. Just kind of catching up and talking. But I could sense the presence of, you know, this being. And he was pretty angry, you know, mad that I was there. But eventually he decided to leave. Because basically they place a portal so they can come and go as they please. You know, it could have stayed there and just been angry and fought with me and probably be in a lot of pain for being in my presence. But he actually decided to leave. So, you know, my dad might have got a break for a day or two. You know, I don't know. But the point is, and this is to demonstrate, because a lot of what you see in truth will be shown to you individually and collectively. And this is the point, that this demonstration on an individual level, they cannot withstand the energy once you're doing your healing work, once you're integrating your higher self. You know, when I was younger, I was traumatized a lot anyway. So, you know, that's the point of them being in your life, really. They don't really understand that that's not necessarily them. You know, that is some being, other being doing this, doing these type of things. And that's another reason why I, through my experiences, I have a great understanding of what true compassion and forgiveness is, and healing and assisting others to raise the vibration here so that these energies and these entities, these beings, are returned to the light to free humanity. And so some of us will come into contact with them in our personal lives. Some of us won't. You know, that's just how it is. Everybody's path, everybody's mission is different. And even with like the major systems that we're transmuting, whatever it is that you're being guided to assist with, honor that. Honor your mission, honor your purpose, honor your gifts, and honor each other's as well. But what is it that you came here to do? What did you come here to transmute? What did you come here to heal? What message did you come to bring forward? What gift did you come to bring forward? You know, and that's what's important. We can watch each other and look at each other all day long, but what did you come here to do? And we're here to assist each other in bringing that forward, helping each other connect with our higher selves, helping each other to remember our divinity and our truth. So, I love you and I honor you. I look forward to connecting with you. You're welcome to message me, email me. Like I said, I am on Facebook under Siobhan Hill. You're welcome to email me. Blueray, BLUERAYATF @gmail.com. You're welcome to message me as well. And I look forward to connecting with you, assisting you on your journey. Transmuting energy is very big, and it will continue to be big until we are in the new earth, until we are there. We are just walking through that process right now. So I honor you and I appreciate you and I love you. Namaste.